I'm David Reed, and this is The Engine Room. All right, welcome to The Engine Room. I have with me a special guest, George Gabriel. So welcome.
Thank you. Privileged to be here.
So yeah, we're both from Aberdeen. So it makes for a good interview because I've got connection, and we both started in the same place in an oily town.
Yeah.
So
I think we also have that same level of sarcasm.
It's dangerous. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see if we offend anyone. So how did you, when you were growing up, if you grew up, I don't know, but in the early years, what were you technical? Did you have a technical interest, or did that come later?
Yeah. So as a youngster, most youngsters Lego building stuff, and then trying to.
You get a prize for saying Lego on the engine.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. It's a Lego prize.
All right. One prize so far. But build it and then build it with instructions and then try and reverse engineer it and then build it without. But bicycles, BMX, all of that was as a kid growing up.
Did you have a chopper?
I had a Tomahawk. So the Tomahawk was the smaller version of the chopper for the audience. But I was actually the second shortest in my class, so a chopper was too big for me.
Right.
After the Tomahawk, I had a 3-gear.
This doesn't help the international crowd. If you want to just research what a chopper is, and it basically was a bicycle that looked like a motorcycle, sort of.
Yeah.
But
I would BMX especially, take that to the BMX park.
You were that guy.
Do all the tricks, but I also did all of my repairs. So if I broke the axle and no YouTube or nothing then, no manuals, you would just go to the bike shop.
Did you go to Reed's bike shop?
I went to Cycling World on George Street.
That's disappointing.
Great selection of stuff. And that's where I would buy... I just got it. That's where I would buy all my spare parts for the BMX and fix and build the BMX. And then, you know what? Living where I did, we would do jobs like tatty picking.
I don't know what that is.
Strawberry picking, so potato picking in the season.
Yeah,
we did that by hand, and
it was good money.
It was great money.
Good money, bad back. That's what I remember.
It was great money. My first year as an apprentice, I took 2 weeks vacation to go potato picking to make 2 months salary, what I would make in 2 weeks. Anyway,
right,
I would use that cash to go buy stuff for my BMX and better wheels and better handlebars. And
so you're talking you're an apprentice and you're still doing BMX. So do you still do it now, or
no?
When did you get over that?
No, but there's a funny story about that if you want to hear that.
We'll call it a story until we laugh. Okay.
Okay. So I have a 12-year-old boy, Reese, and he got his first BMX maybe 3 years ago, and it came with stunt pegs. Now it was a mongoose. Back in the day, if you could get a mongoose,
it's a big day for you as a dad.
It was a big deal. Mongoose was a big deal, and it came with stunt pegs on the front and stunt pegs on the back.
Yeah.
So one of the tricks on the BMX was on the back, stunt pegs bouncing up and down. So I said, "Hey Reese, come here. I'll show you this."
I hope this is on video somewhere.
So I do it, and I get one bounce, and the brakes don't hold the wheel. The bike goes back, and Dad is flat on his back. And of course, my son thought that was very hilarious, and I was mortified.
Video would have been helpful.
Yeah.
That's terrible and awesome at the same time.
Yeah, no
That's
videos.
Good. And so did that progress? I mean, it sounds like you were an apprentice at, what were you doing? What were you studying?
So when I grew up, I for some reason I wanted to be a chef.
Of course.
And my dad was like,
you actually know my cousins, right? And like that's where they were going. Was that a connection?
No.
Okay, just saying. That's where both my cousins were going, down the chef road.
Okay. Did they succeed?
No. As you know, one of them was a DJ, and that's how you know him. But
yeah. Wanted to be a chef. Father said no. My father's got an electrical background. He also worked at the Aberdeen Technical College. So he said, what about an electrician? Would you like to be an electrician?
Did he not say Sparky at the time?
He probably said Sparky. And would you like to be a Sparky? Yes, Dad, I'd like to be a Sparky. Okay, I'll help you with that.
I love it.
So lo and behold, off we went. And in the summer holidays and stuff like that as a kid, my dad, because he was electrical and also a lecturer, he didn't make a lot of money. So he would do homers. You know what homers are?
Of course, yeah.
For the audience, a homer would be something that a tradesperson would do without paying tax and get paid in cash.
Not that you should ever do that. But
Not that we don't
but
endorse
let's
that.
just say, in George's past.
But we would do jobs like that. So as a young loon, as a young kid, my dad would take me along, and I would do small electrical jobs
That
for
would
him.
be
So I kind of got
cool.
a hand in with that, and again, practical with my hands and stuff like that. So
Right.
that was great. That was lots of fun. So would you like to be a Sparky? Yes, Dad. Let's be a Sparky. So off you go.
In
You do
his
the,
mind, was he thinking potentially oil, do you think? Or was he just, it's a
Yes.
good job, good trade, good job.
yes, because back in those days, Aberdeen really was a boom
It was
town.
going wild, yeah.
My parents would do bed and breakfast, so we'd have people
Yeah.
from England coming up before their crew change,
Yeah.
and they would be like deep sea drillers,
Right.
deep sea divers, and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
they were fascinating people to
It was
sit and talk
everywhere,
with.
yeah, all that stuff, yeah.
And it was back in those days. It was the rock and roll lifestyle and the money and all of that. So it was
Yeah.
He probably seen me going down that career path, and that's where I ended up. So yeah, you want to be a Sparky, go do the test. I qualified, and I did a 4-year apprenticeship.
Yeah. So in an apprenticeship, you're working and you're going to college, right?
So yeah, for the first 2 years, you go to college more than 50% of the time, and then you're in your training with a journeyman on a daily basis. Probably by halfway through my second year, I was off doing jobs myself, which was great for me. Not qualified, but still going through apprenticeship. But
Yeah.
away you go, go do these jobs yourself, and it was a great experience. It was Andrew McRob's on Adelphi.
You remember that?
Yeah, so great 4 years. Years 3 and 4 were less college. You still had to do your final exams. Final exam was done in November, and by April the following year, I was working offshore for a different company, ESL,
ESL, Electrical Services Limited,
yeah, in Golden Square.
Golden Square. I remember we'd use them sometimes when I started in Montrose. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
You'd be using ESL. Oh, so that's what you did.
Yeah.
That's
what
good.
what I used to make a week, I was making a day
Yeah.
offshore.
The money's stupid. That's
Stupid.
why that was me, architects, technician kind of training apprenticeship, and then going through that, and then college, finished college, came back, did architecture, States and back in Aberdeen, and then someone offered me a job in the workshop, and honestly making more than a starting architect. So I was like, I'll do that. Money's too good.
Money was good, but the environment it was fun as well. You were learning something.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff.
Yeah, you were going home. You achieved something at the end of the day. A great feeling.
You probably don't remember the Shell ad. There was a Shell ad, early days of offshore North Sea, and they had this blow the man down video, but they made it seem like the most exciting business in the world because you saw this wild weather and you were out on this island in the middle of nowhere. And
Yeah,
I think it was always, because it was around us all the time growing up. You were
Yeah.
always around, good and bad, right? There was
Yeah.
there was pros and cons,
Yeah.
but
yeah.
so that's interesting. So you were hands on offshore were you doing offshore work?
So started in the month of April offshore as an electrical technician. Hutton TLP was was the
Tom Yost's dad's TLP, we call it.
okay.
That was his dad's role for why Tom was in Aberdeen.
All right, okay.
Mhm.
Great platform, tension leg platform.
The first one, right? It would have been the first
I
one.
think it was, yeah.
Yeah.
Conoco.
Yep,
Conoco,
that's right.
Hutton TLP. So yeah, and I was kind of there for quite a few months, 2 on, 2 off type of deal.
Mhm.
ESL had that contract.
Mhm.
So yeah, all electrical.
So how did you find your way to? Would it have been Martin Decker? Or would it have been Martin Decker Talco at that time?
So moving into the offshore, working for ESL, I was a contractor,
Yeah.
and the job finished. You got paid off. We'll phone you when we've got the next job. Worked for quite a few companies like ESL. At one point, got paid off 6 times in 1 year. The contracts had just finished. Hey, we'll phone you, and then I kind of got tired of that, and I wanted something a little bit more stable. So a good friend of mine, Michael Cody Jr.,
Oh yeah,
he was working for MD Talco
Junior.
in Silverburn Place.
You're still connected to Mike, aren't you?
Yeah, he's with Transocean today.
Yeah,
And he was like, hey, we're looking for somebody that's got an electrical background. All of our service technicians are instrument techs, electronic techs, but nobody's an electrician. We need somebody that's prepared to pull cables, gland, terminate, unistrut, cable tray, commission, train the customer. Unfortunately, a lot of the guys didn't like getting their hands dirty. Would you like an interview? Absolutely. So got an interview. Replaced Phil McCallum. He moved from service into service manager. Got the role, and
Bridget Dunn days, right?
Silverburn Place, Bridget Dunn. Yeah.
Very good. So that kind of started you. Did you travel much? Did you get put around the world with MD Topco? Or?
Yes. So, I mean, the job was great. MD Topco, as you know, is a lot of drilling instrumentation back in those days, electronic and hydraulic. So they would start me off in the workshop with weight indicators and calibrating weight indicators. That lasted about 72 hours.
Yeah, you weren't very good, I guess.
I was terrible at it. After blowing up the second tube.
We need to send him offshore. That's what they said.
Yeah, they were like, okay, get him away from that stuff. Get him over to the electrical stuff. And that was my background. Big fingers, doing little watch mechanisms and gauges. Just I wasn't good at that. But did that side of the business. In those days, Varco days, we were really busy. There was a lot going on globally, and that side of the business between Aberdeen and Montrose, we were supporting a lot of the world. We were doing stuff from Brazil to Brunei and a lot of the stuff in between.
Were you around the VISIS era?
I wasn't.
Okay.
I was close to moving into the VISIS stuff, but I never got down that
Which
path.
was an MD Topco control chair.
Yeah.
So, for an era.
Yeah.
36 rigs, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a technician in MD Topco, the last new equipment I worked on was a product called Electronic Driller.
Yeah.
I was Mike Porsche developed that.
Yeah.
That's a rig product today. But I did.
That was a big breakthrough.
Yeah, it was a fantastic product to work on
It was
as
the
well.
beginning of performance type work, I think, for MD Topco. Like, we're going to help you drill better.
Mm-hmm.
Seemed to be that was the beginning of that era.
Yeah. To be controlling from set points, auto driller set points, controlling a disc brake was fantastic. And for me, it was the first time we moved away from a brake handle to a joystick. And
your Atari joystick that we gave him.
it was, but it was fantastic. It was so cool.
Yeah, it was. It was very exciting.
It was
So-
great fun.
I came across you in India. Were you based in India? A lot of members was in a conference and you came up and said, I want to introduce you to someone.
So my progression in MD Topco was service technician, service manager. Then I was sales manager for Africa. That was a great experience. I would spend a lot of time in Algeria introducing new quoting system, RigSense, new products to NFR, ENTP.
Yeah.
I would go down there for 21 days at a time and work closely with NFR and ENTP, keep that momentum going. We still have that relationships today and that products in Algeria today. West Africa, I do a lot of visits in West Africa, and it was mostly a milk and cookie run West Africa because all the key decisions were really made in Houston. But it was good to follow up with the customers there and see what their pains were and stuff like that. That was that portion of my spell in Africa, and that was about 3 years. And then MD Topco was looking for a country manager for India.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, I was newly married.
So you want to test if it's going to work.
Yeah. So let's put you to India. I'm still married today.
You made it through, so good news.
Yeah. So offered me the job as country manager for India, and I accepted that challenge. I went in with a complete and utter open mind, which I think was needed for that job. I was given one job to do, and that was to conclude the ONGC 52 rig tender that a lot of people had worked on for maybe 4 years, and I came in at the tail end, and my job was get this over the line, get it signed, execute, get those 52 rig systems, instrumentation systems installed and commissioned, and then build your business off of that.
Yeah.
And that's what we went in and did. We did that. And again, we're successful in India today. I think MD Topco is immensely successful for NOV in India today, but it was probably the turning point for my career. I don't think I'd be here today if I didn't have that 4 years in India.
But there is something, and I learned some of this in Varco, and I've heard you say similar things. When you go to be in a country or to work with a country, how can you be successful when you do that?
Well, good question. A lot of my expat friends that I knew from back home that were in that part of the world, they would struggle in India, and they would be like, "Hey, it's good luck, all the best.
Yeah.
You'll never get paid.
Yeah.
You'll never make any money."
Yeah. It's a cheap market.
Yeah.
Don't even try.
Yeah.
You must have got the short straw.
Yeah. I totally disagree. We went in, we're successful today. At that time, we took it from a $2 million business to a $22 million business. We still make a lot of revenue there today. The key is you're working with an NOC, you're working with ONGC.
Yeah.
You'll get frustrated in how they do stuff. But that's fine. Learn the system.
Yeah.
Don't try and change their system. You'll never change it.
Mhm.
Never change it. Just learn and understand that their system and how to navigate through that. And when you do that and you understand their tender process, their quoting process, their LC letter credit process, and how to get paid,
Mhm.
no issues for MD Topco.
Yeah. But I'll tell you, I'll put words in your mouth on this one. The thing I see when you talk about it, when we have more time, we don't have a lot of time here, but when you talk about culture and visiting places, you're always curious. You seem always interested in what are they about, you know, and I think it comes across when you work in a country, when you're interested in their culture and you want to find out more and you adapt, which is what you're describing. So, yeah.
And you have to.
Well, not everyone does. So some people go in and
Yeah.
they see it as a disposition. But
Go in, embrace it, learn it.
yeah.
You'll
good.
have great fun.
Good.
4 years in India was fantastic for me. I really enjoyed it.
Brilliant. So, 2 more questions we have to get through, and our time's almost up. So let's see what we can do. First, what do you geek on? What's your thing you do? I think we kind of covered a bit, but is there anything we missed?
So I guess I've got 2 geeks: a personal geek and a working geek. My personal geek is golf. I'm very passionate
Are
about
you
golf.
Scottish?
Aye.
Okay, just checking.
Aye. I love golf. That's what I geek about.
Yeah.
Always trying to get
Get that extra edge.
get better, but not crazy. My set of irons that I have are 10 years old.
Okay, so you're still from Aberdeen.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Second?
From a work aspect, what I geek about is making sure we're putting the right stuff in our pantry.
Yeah.
So one of my responsibilities is supply chain, inventory management. You know, we've had challenges in the past where we've bought a lot of stuff and then, boom, the market's disappeared. And you get into habits. I'm not going to say bad habits, but you get into habits when the business is booming, and then things come down, the industry comes down. But you need to change your buying habits. Only put what you need in your pantry.
This is the time you need an Aberdonian.
Yeah.
Just saying, just so everyone understands. People think Scottish people are cheap, but Scottish people think Aberdonian people are cheap, and we just think we're careful. So
Yeah, just
I think being careful with your money is
smart with the pennies, right?
smart with the pennies. So,
So,
that makes sense that you would obsess on that because it's good for business, right?
Spend it like it's your own and
Yeah.
only buy what you need. And then when business picks up, let's revisit it.
Okay, final question. You can phone a friend, it's okay. If someone was to call you about anything, where can you help them? If someone was to track you down, like, here's where I need help, what's a good thing to ask you?
24 years in the company, I know a lot of people. I've met a lot of people. I've grown up with a lot of people. If somebody needs help with technical assistance, I can help them to a certain extent. but I know who else can help.
Yeah.
I know who else will be that key
You're getting
person.
a call. Must be time
Yeah.
to close the interview.
Somebody with a technical problem.
It's Michael calling you right now. It's like, can you wrap it up?
Yeah.
That's good.
But and also how to build a business in certain countries I can help with as well, and how do you get established.
That's good.
Advice like that. Yeah.
Great. Good. Well, thanks for being on. It's been a good interview. We'll have you back sometime. So
Thank you.
thanks for listening in.